So I think we made a list of top 3 Clemson memories. I'm assuming you went by the bylaws, okay, for this. All right, I'm going to trust you to do this. All right, so I'm going to start with number 1. Here's the way I did this. By the way, I didn't include any moments that I didn't see live. Okay, that I wasn't able to see. I wasn't born for, so I don't want to get a bunch of grief for not picking the catch. Okay, everybody knows the catch is probably the biggest moment in Clemson, South Carolina football history. All right, my number 1, ladies and gentlemen, I said I couldn't mention the catch. I didn't say I couldn't mention the catch too. All right. Look, we did a top 5 list, several months ago about Clemson, South Carolina moments, but it's a little time for a refresher. Okay. You can never go over these Clemson, South Carolina memories enough. I was sitting with my dad in the box, Woody Dantzler to Rod Gardner for 50 yards, about 10 seconds left, and seemingly no hope, ladies and gentlemen. Gardner makes the grab. South Carolina fans cry push off. Aaron Hunt with a 25-yarder to win 16-14. Ladies and gentlemen, awesome game. Bar none, my favorite memory of Clemson, South Carolina. The fact that it was just kind of a last-second game, needing a miracle to win, and a little bit of extra salty chicken tears due to what they perceived as a missed call, just made the moment the most special that I've experienced for sure. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know if you're kind of a millennial Tiger fan. Now we'll kind of, let everybody know we were born in the 80s, in the late 80s. So if you're a millennial Tiger fan, I think the catch number 2 is your all-time favorite, especially if you went to that game, which I did, but I wasn't in the box. See, I'm not high roller like the Adams family over there.
Once upon a time, my friend.
I was not in the box, and I was down there freezing my tail off, 32 degrees, right next to my dad. Pretty big guy at the time. He's kind of lost a lot of weight since then, but pretty big guy at the time. He had a blanket with us, so, I wasn't that cold. But I'll tell you, we had a couple of Gamecock fans behind us. It was a husband and wife. Gamecock fan wife, Clemson fan husband. And I remember asking my dad, like, how does that even work? Like I'm sure they didn't last. I mean, this just can't be possible. I just felt like as a kid, I'm thinking there's no way that you would even do this. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I mean, marriage is tough enough, but then to go marry a Gamecock fan? I don't know how I feel about that. I don't even know if that can work. I mean, people say house divided, and I kind of like, really? Is it house divided?
No.
I don't know. I don't know if I really believe that. But catch number 2 is mine. I'm looking at, standing there with my dad in the cold, seeing him catch that ball. It was one of those things where didn't know what was going to happen. And then they come out and kick the field goal and win the game, and it was awesome. And I remember those fans behind us. The wife was mad. The husband was happy. And I was like, again, how's this marriage ever going to last? But I will say that was my favorite memory. For me, number 2, Al, I don't know if this will be your number 2, but I think this is a lot of people's number 2, 56-7. Now, I know this is a newer one. Again, we're millennial Tiger fans here, so I know a lot of my old school Tiger fans are going to say, I believe it was 1980, the Orange Britches game, and I respect that. But as Alan said, we weren't at that game, so we weren't even born then. So can't really count that game. But if you count that game, the Orange Britches game, hey, believe me, that's a historical event and pretty awesome. When I read back and look back on that game, that was a great game for sure. But 56-7 for me, really it was capped off. Not only was I with my family, who I have 2 or 3 Gamecock graduates from my family, and they all got to sit there with me eating Thanksgiving leftovers and enjoying the beatdown. And I got to see all excuse after excuse of why they couldn't hang with us. And I got to hear them talk about how great Clemson is. And it was just like icing on the cake, man. It was just so great. It was like Thanksgiving dinner all over again. Yep. 56-7. But then after that game was over, my man Mickey Plyler, he comes out on 105.5 The Roar, one of our affiliate, we're affiliated with them. But he comes out, and every morning at 7:56, he played 7 seconds of 2001 and then 56 seconds of Tiger Rag. And it ended like perfectly on CLEMSON, perfectly, right on the end. So to me, I think he did that for the rest of the year. And that was just awesome for like 2 months or a month and a couple days straight. All of December, he did that. And I'm like, man, this is what heaven is like right here. But so that was my number 2.
Yeah, that is one of the greatest moments in all of radio. So I want to give Plyler a lot of credit for that. I like listening to his show in the morning, and that was fantastic when they were making fun of them for that. Actually, I'm not even going to mention the fact that you just mentioned you saw that game on TV and you were not at the game. But we're just going to move on to my number two. My number two is 63-17. Look, that was a crazy year for Clemson. Okay, 2003, they were destroyed by Georgia to start that year. In what I don't care what anybody says, it was the hottest game in Death Valley ever. We kind of came home from the river to watch this game, and we got beat 30-0, and it was about 142 degrees. So that was not fun. But we did beat a ranked Virginia team. Then we got hammered by Wake Forest. Everybody remembers that. I think it was like 45-17 or something to that effect. It was not a good game. And, then we got a huge win against Florida State. I don't know what they were ranked at the time, but they were highly ranked when they came into Death Valley. So then they waltz into Williams-Brice Stadium. I'm pretty sure Clemson was a slight underdog in this game, and then they proceed to give them one of the worst beatdowns in this rivalry history. It was fantastic. Whitehurst was able to find pretty much anybody he wanted all night. Curry, Hamilton, Youngblood, they were all running wide open. Had some good running games as well there, So the stands were empty except for the orange at halftime, and it was an amazing sight to see just the fact that it was in their building. I'm hoping we see something similar this year.
Yeah, Al, you got to stop listening to me so closely. But my number three is 2007. My number three is 2007, 23-21. Mark Buckholtz with a game-winning kick. The reason why it's so important to me is because he kicked the game winner, but the year before that, I was in Iraq, and they missed, and they lost, and they won by, I think they lost by like a field goal. And I had everybody to rag on me just about the whole rest of the deployment was just miserable Gamecock fans just beating me down, rubbing it in my face. Well, hey, you win the game, you can do that. But then it was so nice to finally come back, get the season started. They started the season off winning against Florida State. I was actually there for Alan, for you, Alan. I was actually there at that game. But I will say, whether I'm there or not, I'm there in spirit. All right. But 2007, 23-21, kicks the field goal. And I believe it was the last time they ever wore white tops and blue pant bottoms. Not blue. I'm saying blue, purple. They really were like, they really were like blue back then. Really. I mean, if you really look at them, I don't know, but they weren't the purple like they are now.
Yeah.
But they were kind of like a shiny purple that made it look blue on TV. That's why I said blue. But anyways, white top, purple bottom. I don't even think they do that combination anymore. I think Dabo Sweeney kind of threw that one out. But they won the game. Very happy for that. And so that was my number three.
I thought we were going to have all of our three the same, but since you went with 2007, that kind of changes things up a little bit because number three for me was 56-7. Obviously it was a big game for the Tigers after they went to Columbia the year before and played a little too close for comfort, to be honest with you. That was a game where it looked like we were gonna kind of dominate. That's when they scored that garbage touchdown near the end, made it a lot closer than that game really was, for sure. And that could have cost us the chance at the playoffs. They left no doubt in this game. And 56-7, obviously, destroyed the Gamecock dreams from start to finish in this one. Complete with Mike Williams, piggybacking Jamarcus King into the end zone. It's one of the most infamous plays in Clemson football history. Everybody loves that. I believe that's the game where they got the curtain call as well. Dabo Sweeney had the curtain call for the seniors, and Gamecocks were crying about that as well. So that was beautiful to hear. I love anytime they're sad. It's a great thing. So I love this rivalry. It's an awesome thing. It's a great feeling, and it's a lot of fun too. And especially when we're on the side that we're on now. Obviously, it was not so fun when we had lost 5 in a row. I can't even believe I'm having to mention this on air, but it was not so fun when we lost 5 in a row. I had just joined an extended Gamecock family at that point. Okay, my wife and father-in-law, mother-in-law, and sister-in-law are all Tigers, okay? But everybody else, and they have a big family, are all Gamecocks, okay? So this was not a good time to be joining that family. So it's nice to be back on the right side of things. We've got our own 5 in a row, hopefully going to make it 6 and going on 100 here soon.